Hey everyone, what's going on? Retire on Dividends here. I'm back to make an update to the series which tracks the YieldMax funds weekly changes. So I actually did a slight update to the original video I did because I kind of changed my mind how I had it set up. Originally, I was pulling the weekly changes based on when the individual funds launched. So I was tracking the underlying on the dates when the funds launched. However, I don't think that matters, to be honest. So I figured I'm going to track all of the funds starting the same date and ending the same date, to be a better comparison. So I just, I did that. And the date I chose was the first Friday of 2023, which happens to be January 6th. So the comparison will begin then. So then obviously the new numbers you'll see on the 5 funds that I covered in the first video will show that on the compare tab. So I'm not going to go through the first 5 funds that I went through in the first video. If you do want to see that video, you're going to have to check it out. I'll pin that video to the comments because in the original video we covered Tesla, Coney, Nvidia, Misty, AMZ. So now what I did add was MSFO, because I did, based on the last video, I said, all right, name me some new funds I should add to this comparison, and you guys did. So let's take a look real quick for MSFO, this is the Microsoft one for YieldMax. So what we do again is we take a look to see how many times over each week did the underlying of each YieldMax fund go above 5% change or under 5% change. So right off the bat, we see 1 for MSFT. Also, I do highlight, this is not part of the comparison, but for this tab, I do highlight any changes above 10% so we can get an idea. So obviously there, you see a week right there. Okay, MSFT did, Microsoft went up above 10%, and then we can scroll through pretty fast. We see a negative 5%, so obviously another one there. And then that's it. So no changes, just one change above 10%. So that's pretty good. So MSFT, again, pretty safe fund. Now, if we take a look at PYPY, which the underlying is PayPal, obviously you can see, quite a few more because they're a little more volatile. But on this tab, we'll take a look at anything highlighted. All right, 17% drop. Obviously, that's pretty drastic. And then you see a 15% drop, 11% gain. So yeah, about 3 times did it fluctuate 10%. And again, on the last compare tab, we'll go through how many times it changed plus or minus 5% in comparable to its buddies. Now, Palantir is the underlying stock for PLTY or PLTY. So right off the bat, good Lord, plus 11%, minus 10%, plus 22%, minus 12%, minus 11%. This makes me say, okay, no thank you. I'll stay away from PLTY. Oh my God, look at this. Look at that. Could you imagine how much you would have been capped on those covered calls? And then 13% down, 50. Oh my God, this is too much. This is way too much for a weekly covered call ETF. Good Lord, wow. I'm kind of looking at these numbers for the first time right now, just with you guys in general. I made the formulas, but it's better for me to actually review it, at the time I'm making the video. So yeah, PLTY, not so nice. All right, how about FBY? FBY is a one I own. Oh, 22% right there. 12%, 10%, okay, 20%. All green though, at least that's good. All right, so they were about 4 weeks. They had above 10%. And then BABO, who can forget BABO? All right, this is, what is it? China, Amazon, whatever the hell, for BABA. Minus 10%, minus 11, plus 17. Actually, pretty stable. Oh, plus 10% and plus 21%. So not that bad, to be honest. Alibaba, right? Alibaba, the underlying. So, yeah, That's it. So that's it. That's the 5 funds. Now we will take a look at the compare tab. So here's the update for the new 5 funds, right? Tesla. So you could see the IV column D, 55%, and then you can compare that to how many times, what percent change it went plus or minus 5%. So you can see Tesla overall went under 5% 18 times, went above 5% 25 times, which is a 46% ratio. Coin went above or below 5% 67% of the time. Again, we're pulling the same 92-week period. So, again, compare the IV. The IV, if you see a higher IV, you can kind of expect you'll have a higher chance of moving up or down 5%. All right, so coin, again, 67% of the time they go up or down 5% in a week, each week. NVIDIA, 42% of the time they do, and their IV is only 49%, so that's kind of high. MSTR, 64% of the time, week in and week out, they go up or down 5%, but their IV is kind of justifying that. Amazon's only 17% of the time, which is a really good stat right there. This is over 92 weeks again, so that's not bad. Their IV is 37%, so that's pretty good numbers. Now, if we look at the new batch of stocks that we just chose, take a look at Microsoft. We knew the numbers were going to be good, but only 7%, 7.6% of the time over the 92-week period we chose, did it go up or down 5% in a week. That is fantastic. Their IV is 29%, so this is a safe fund. PYPY, so PayPal, 23%, not bad. That's not bad at all. So if you're a believer in PayPal, this seems to be a really good fund. About PLTY, 53% of the time they did, that's better than I thought, honestly, did go up or down. Their IV, though, is 67%, so it's not all that bad comparably to the others. How about Meta, Facebook? How'd they do? 32% of the time they went plus or minus, which that's okay based on their IV, I guess. I don't know. Last but not least, BABO. All right, BABO, 30% of the time they changed, which with a 47% IV, that's okay. So again, I kind of went fast through the numbers. I'm not sure how much, you want me to go in the details, but the important part is, when they go over the 5%, like on these new funds, when they go under, it is what it is, right? They go under 5%. We're going to go down with it, plus or minus the premium we make. It's when they go over, when we get capped is the problem. So 6% of the time Microsoft went over. 14% of the time PayPal went over. 31% of the time Palantir went over. 27% of the time Meta went over, and then BABO or BABA, 15% of the time it went over. So again, we could have gotten capped that many times, which you don't want to do, right? You kind of want it to stay flat. So again, back to MSFO, really solid fund, 7% of the time, not bad at all. Because again, you're assuming they're selling covered calls around, maybe 3, 4, 5% out of the money. And if they're doing that, we're not really losing that much upside. We're always going to lose on the upside. We can't avoid that, but it's just a matter of how much. Now, newest addition to the spreadsheet, ready? Don't get too excited, but it's the summary. It's where we grade who is doing the best. Who is the best investment based on this ratio, this comparison. So if we take a look, again, we have the numbers under 5% beats, over 5% beats, and then total 5% beats. And then we have the 30-day IV. So why do we have these two? Well, it's because I'm creating a ratio. I'm comparing, all right, what percent of the total beats go into the 30-day IV? Because typically you want the beat percentage to be less than the IV, right? If the IV is high, obviously the beats will be higher, but overall, we kind of want the beats to be lower than the IV. And if you see, like, for example, Tesla, just so you know my formula, I basically divide the beats divided by the IV, which would give you what percent, of that makes that up. And then I take 100% and I minus that from that number. That way I make it like a test score, right? Which means the higher the better, the lower the worst. So obviously Tesla has failed. Tesla has failed the test because they got a 16% because their beats are way too close to their IV. How about Coney? 29%. They kind of failed as well. NVIDIA failed as well. I know NVIDIA is performing very well, but that's because their underlying is just doing fantastic. If their underlying wasn't doing this fantastic, then that we would feel much differently about NVIDIA. And this is kind of scary in my opinion, to be honest, because I'm an NVIDIA shareholder. And the fact that that's the ratio, oh man, makes me want to run away a little. MSTY has a better ratio. Oh, by the way, I have a color scale. The darker the green, the better. 41% for MSTY. It's still, I consider anything under 50 failing, but it's still a failing grade. But guess what? It's not bad. It's not bad. That's all I'm going to say. AMZ passed with 54%, so that's pretty good. Really, that's really good. I mean, we knew AMZ was good, but look at this. The number one test score, no shocker, Microsoft or is it MSFY? Oh, did I call it MSFO on the other one? Oh man, I always screw up their ticker. I think Curve is MSF. No. What's YieldMax? Oh man, I'm losing my mind. I think it's MSFO for the YieldMax one. I don't know why I put Y. What's MSFY? Is that Curve? Whatever. The Microsoft YieldMax one. 74%. Why? Because their IV is 29 and they only got beat 7% of the time. So MSFO, YieldMax, Microsoft, whatever the hell the ticker is a really good investment based on this and this alone. Again, this is just one extra comparable for you guys to think about. All right, how about PYPY? Right in the middle, 50%. That's pretty good. I'm not sure how I feel about PayPal with all the competition, though. That's my only issue, and that's why I never bought into PYPY. PLTY, 22%. That's a failing grade. I'm kind of staying away from that one. FBY, 29%. Kind of surprises me. I'm a FBY holder, so I would have expected better. And then BABO, BABO, 36%. Not the best, but whatever. It's better than some of these. Again, so the worst one was NVIDIA. That's kind of surprising. The second worst was Tesla. That's not surprising. And then after that, who's this? PLTY. Okay, that's not really surprising either because that one's very, very volatile. So again, this is just, I'm not saying to invest or not invest in any of these because of this. I just wanted to show you another way of looking at the funds. Again, we track these funds so many different ways, and we're trying to make the best decision, for ourselves, for our family. And it's important for you to understand what matters. And believe it or not, these beats matter. Every time, they go over 5%, they could be capped, right? And they'll be limiting the upside. But then when it goes under, essentially we're taking most of that downside. So, what do you guys think of the grades? Does this work out well for you guys? Does this help? Should I grade it based on the under over as well? Because again, the under, we're going to win our covered calls, right? So those aren't really as concerning. The over may be a little more concerning. So we could do maybe an overall grade. We can do an over and an over grade. Maybe I'll add that into the next one. I'll do that here so I don't forget. So we'll call it the over grade or extra credit. Yeah, extra credit. Since we're school's in session here. Okay, and then we'll do over. I'm doing this because I'm going to look at this next time like, what the hell was I doing? What the hell am I trying to say? So at least now I know we're also going to do a separate grade for next time. What percent it goes over. All right. So that'll be pretty good to see. So Yeah, so that's all I really got for today's video. You know what? Let's just do that right now. Oh, it's gonna add. Yeah, I don't want that. Whatever. I can fix the conditional, the color scale later. All right, so it's doing F2 divided by. No, we want to do D divided by F. Okay. Okay. All right, so I did the color scale for everything, which, again, I'll fix that. I'm running out of voice. By the way, this is my third video today. I got up at 3 a.m. to pump out a crap load of videos. So this is it. I need some voice for work. But again, in the lead, MSFO, 78% grade. Who else? 69% is next, AMZ. All right, good job, AMZ. Next is 68%. Good job, BABO. BABO. All right, and then what we got? 63% MSTY. Okay. Oh, did we miss PYPY? PYPY at 70%. And then Coney at 60. Wow, it makes a different picture, quite the different picture here. But yeah, NVIDIA's still a bad grade, right? The worst grade still because, well, they went up so much, so many times. So they went over that 5%. So, but again, we are taking advantage of a lot of those gains thanks to the synthetic. This is just in reference to the covered calls and the possible cappage. But it just goes to show if the underlying goes up that much, which maybe again that's more columns we should probably add. The date, the price of the underlying from when we're comparing this versus the price now. Again, I keep thinking of things, so I'm gonna be I'm gonna run out of space already. So I'm just gonna end this here. Before I go even more crazy, I'm just getting more and more ideas. But as always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we will try again next time. And by the way, for next time, I need 5 more funds. So for any funds that are not in this picture, please leave that you want covered. Please leave them down below. Eventually, obviously, I'll have every single freaking fund in here. And then we'll make it maybe once a month or every 2-month series. But for now, we're going to do it as I have time. So as you give me 5 funds, I'll work on the spreadsheet, and then I'll pop up the next video, and then we'll cover it. I'll probably have more and more columns on the summary tab as we go, in hopes to help us make better decisions investing in the appropriate funds. But what do you guys think of these grades? Is this relevant to you? Do you not give a damn? Or are you, is this helpful? Let me know either way in the comments below. If you enjoy the content, by the way, hit the like button if you can. And yeah, I already said it's not financial advice, I believe. I'm running out of brain cells too at this point, 3 videos. And it's not even, what time is it? Well, it's about to be 6:30. I better jump on my premiere. But I just want to say, guys, thank you for watching. And I hope you guys have a great day. Later.